Oh, the thing about Posca pens is they are so easy to use. You're here to learn exactly how to paint sneakers with Posca pens. So without further ado, let's get into it. No adus. Not even a single individual adu. Not even one. Okay, it sounds like there was an adu. Anyway, let's learn how to customize sneakers with Posca pens. Oh, and I forgot to mention that I'm going to set this pair of shoes on fire at the end of this video, so if you're interested in that, stick around. If you watched my previous video, you'll know that I'm super gullible and I'll believe anything that anybody tells me if their name is Dylan DeJesus.
Number 4, Posca pens. Number 5, another supply mistake that we'll see is wanting to use some type of markers for customizing shoes. Whether that be Posca pens or Sharpies, these are not really meant to hold up long term for customizing shoes. They do work a little bit better if you're just working on canvas such as Vans or something like that, but they're not going to hold up if you're working on something like a pair of all leather Air Force Ones, Jordan 1s, or anything along those lines.
So with the exception of my very first pair of custom sneakers, I actually haven't painted with Posca since. But that's about to change today. But since I'm not about to go and spend $200 on an Air Force One and then stuff it up, I'm going to use a pair of used Adidas Stan Smiths and they're going to be just fine for purpose. And if this works out really well, then I will most certainly do it on an Air Force. So what better to do for a pair of Posca custom sneakers than something bright and colorful with nice, clear, opaque colors than the Powerpuff Girls. I think that a Powerpuff theme like this would go really well with this type of pen. Let's put it to action. Okay, first things first, let's do some surface preparation to make sure that these are ready for painting. You can use acetone or nail polish remover in order to get rid of the factory finish. After that, you should just buff the surface lightly with a bit of sandpaper to give the paint some extra grip. Right, all good paintings start with a good drawing. Let's mark out the places that we're going to need paint so that it's literally just a paint by numbers exercise. Alright, so I'm going to start off doing the hair for each of these girls. So yellow hair for Bubbles, orange hair for Blossom, and black hair for Buttercup. Next, I'm going to outline and fill each of the black sections of their eyes. This is just a really good starting point, as well as the black on all of their clothing. I decided to go color by color. There's no right way to do this. I just think that color by color is a simple way to go about it. Next, using this frustratingly fat marker, I'm going to plot out all of the sections that are going to be blue, particularly those around Bubbles. After that, I'm going to do the exact same thing for Blossom and then for Buttercup. Okay, next, using a white marker, you're going to need to... Okay, you got me. I forgot to buy a skin colored marker and I only realized that halfway through this project, so I did have to use a little bit of Angelus leather paint and a brush for the skin tones. I tried to trick you. I'm sorry. I mean, how freaking cool are these pens? I mean, what other paint can you put white directly over solid black? I mean, this is just so cool. It makes highlights so easy. Next, I'm going to use a waterproof fine tip fine liner marker in order to give these girls a little bit more definition and do some black lines. Now, I would do this with the utmost care because a lot of the waterproof markers say that they're waterproof, but they end up smudging when you do your clear coat, so you might want to experiment with finding the right pen before you go full send on an artwork. And lastly, I almost forgot Blossom's little bow, just to tie this all together. Oh, the thing about Posca pens is they are so easy to use, but if you've got the ones that I've got here, the nice thick nibbed ones, it's actually really difficult to get nice defined clean lines. And I'm so used to using a paintbrush that this was a little bit frustrating. I had to go over a couple of lines again and again with this slightly thinner marker, but you do get really thin ones, which I'm sure you can do a lot of great detail on, but just with these, I'm actually pretty happy with how they turned out, but I probably could have done it in quite a bit less time. But this is all about learning, so I'm really happy with how it's coming out. I'm not gonna lie, forget the Powerpuff Girls. This guy, Mojo Jojo, he's the guy. He's my favorite character, and I actually originally wanted to paint him, but these Powerpuff Girls have got such nice colors. I couldn't resist. These are perfect for Posca pen usage. So I'm pretty stoked with how these came out. It was so much quicker than using paint. Even Angelus, this was a pleasurable experience. These Posca pens really lower the barrier to entry, meaning it's so easy for anybody, whether they have painting skills or not, to just pick up a pen, shake it a couple of times, and then just put down a layer. Whereas with a paint like Angelus or whatever, you'd be going off layer after layer after layer. So this really does make the excuses go away, and it's quick and easy to start a project. And if you don't have the skill with the brush, these are a lot easier to use. So give it a go. If this is your first customizing project, go for it. I believe in you. You can do it. Don't listen to the naysayers. But just note that I haven't tested these out by like taking them out into the sunlight and scratching them or anything like that. So I don't know how long this is going to last. I'll give you guys an update on how long they do last. But for now, please enjoy the sugar spice and everything nice with a little bit of Chemical X. As I said in the beginning, the very first pair of custom sneakers I ever did was actually with Posca pens. This was before I was dissuaded from using them, and they actually came out pretty nice, and I'm just gonna throw them up here. I did a butterfly shattered clock thing and some orange yellow flowers. Look at this little trick. Getting started with a custom sneaker business, if you look at the shoes from one side, you'll see the clock and the butterfly, but this is the same pair of shoes. But if you look from the other side, you will see the flowers. So I was trying to maximize the number of artworks that I could get out of one pair of shoes. So if you're starting a custom sneaker business, I highly recommend this to lower your costs and then try to get some artworks out. Or if you're just a cool, funky person and you realize that nobody's really going to look at both sides of your feet at the same time, who's doing that? Those people should stop. So how well does Posca pen hold up against fire? I don't know, and I'm not quite sure why you would want to know, but let's find out anyway.
Okay, let's go.
Wow, surprisingly well, apparently. Wow, I better put that in my marketing. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoy. If you've liked my content, please do subscribe and just, come on, watch the next one. You know you wanna.